Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tubby Guy Outdoors. Tonight, I've been trying to make this video for like 2 or 3 weeks. It's been raining and whatever. So I finally get a chance to do it, and I've been looking forward to making this one because this is one of those ones that we talked about in the beginning, way back, about, you know, the outdoors doesn't need to be expensive and all that good stuff. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a DIY goose silhouette decoy, and they work. I've been using them for years. They're easy to make, they're inexpensive to make, and with the price of decoys these days, you can't go wrong by doing this yourself. It just takes a couple hours and you're good to go. So anyway, let's get this show on the road. Okay, so step one is you're going to want to get yourself a piece of cardboard. Doesn't really matter what. I find cardboard better because when you're fooling around with paper, it tends to bunch up and stuff when you're trying to trace it. So then what you're going to do is you're going to draw yourself a basic goose outline. Alright, you can just Google images or whatever, get the shape of a goose and just draw it out. This one is in the feeder position with the head down, and we'll make one in the century position with its head up. And then we'll just go from there. So the important part about this decoy though is instead of trying to cut out feet, you want to cut out this kind of pointed flat piece here, because once it's made, when you get them into the field, that's going to help you drive it into the ground and help it stabilize and stay up. Okay, so let's get this cut out and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay guys, so step two is now we've got our silhouette shape cut out in our cardboard. We're going to lay it down, take a marker, and we're going to trace it all the way around like I've already done, and we're going to do the same with our century position, and we're going to lay them out so that we get the maximum amount of silhouettes out of one sheet as we can. And what I did was I went to our local timber mart and I bought a sheet of the 1/4 inch mahogany underlay. It was a little bit less than 20 bucks, taxes in, for the sheet. And if you've got old paneling laying around or old sheets like this, you don't have to go buy the stuff. Use what you have. And as long as it's light, thin. The main thing you want to remember is thin, because you want to carry these things around when you're out in the field. So the lighter the material, the better off you are. So let's move on to the next step, which is cutting out our silhouettes. Okay guys, so step 3 will be cutting these out, and all you need for that is just a jigsaw, and that's it. We'll just cut them out. So we'll get them all, we've got them laid out here. I'll finish the board later, but for the sake of the video, we'll do these two, and then I'll show you the next step after that. I also want to apologize for the wind noise. Nothing I can do about it. It's just one of those things, so hopefully it's not too bad. So stick with me, bear with me, and we'll get through this. We'll get through this video. Okay, boys, volume level warning. Okay, so we've got our silhouettes cut out, our feeder and our century, and now step 4 or 26 or how many takes this was to get to this point, I'm not real good with maths, is we're gonna paint them. So grab some black paint and some white. In this case we're going to use some craft paint that I stole from the wife's crafts box, and all you have to do is paint a basic goose coloring. So black and white, you know, in kind of the colors that the goose is going to be. So we're going to do black for the main part of the body, and this little can of paint that we picked up at the local hardware store Stainer Home Hardware. It's about 20 bucks, I think, around there anyway. But you can, this much paint will go so far that it'll be ridiculous. Now I recommend getting matte, not gloss, so because you don't really want that shine, especially when the sun's coming up and all that good stuff. So and again, you don't have to get like super particular. You're just gonna make pretty basic goose coloring, you know, like, you know, there's the black and white feathers and you know what a goose looks like. So, and again, if you need to use a reference, then just use Google Images. And as picky as geese can be to decoy in, the silhouettes don't need to be that crazy. They don't need to be that close. I know that big manufacturers all want you to believe that, you know, realism, 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 but at the end of the day, as long as you have the basic shape and basic coloring down, they're going to decoy. So I'm going to throw a little bit of this white down. And for the sake of time, I'll continue on with the process and we'll show you the next step and the finished painting product. Okay, so for editing's sake, we're gonna say that these are the two we are working on. These are some ones that I've had for literally years. And you can see how I've never touched them up or anything. This is just the way I've always used them. So the next step, step 5, I believe, is putting some legs on them. Now when I say legs, I really mean something to prop them up in the field. This bit is going to help stabilize it, but this bit is going to help stabilize it, but you really need a support to it. And it's really simple, really cheap, because everybody has boatloads of these old coat hangers that they try to give away and sell and throw in the garbage, and don't hang on to them. They come in super handy. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut that piece off, the hook piece maybe, and then we're going to bend this to the shape we want, something like that, just kind of a U shape, right? I'm going to put that down on the decoy, and I'm just going to take an old handy dandy old stapler here and just kind of give it a few. And yes, I know everybody's cringing, but believe me, if you can get ones that aren't gold, it's better, but we'll just put a little bit more paint on there or whatever we have to whatever we have to do, and that's going to work just fine. So when you're out in the field and you're, you know, it's not like a lawn, so you drive those down and you get that bit there touching, and it stops it from flopping over real bad if you're in the heavy wind. So that's all there is to it. So the longest part is waiting for the paint to dry. And one thing I do want to mention is get the edge. You don't want to leave that raw wood edge. So black, right? White where it needs to be. Okay? And then that's your basic goose silhouette. And believe me, it works. So, and for about $40, we'll probably be able to make about a dozen decoys. And that's as cheap as you're gonna get, and these work, believe me. The most important thing to goose hunting is not how many decoys you put out. Yeah, that can be very effective, for calling birds in, but if you want to get birds on the ground, you do your research and you set up where the birds were feeding. And then you don't need that many decoys. You put out a bunch of silhouettes, a few full bodies, and have yourself a great hunt. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was helpful. And remember to subscribe and like and share and comment. And good luck this season, guys.